A damning Senate inquiry has urged any state and territory hosts of major events seeking federal funding to notify the federal government of contingency plans and any cancellations. Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews dismissed the interim report into the Commonwealth Games even before it was released, prompting the Senate chair to accuse him of putting regional communities in the trash can.
I think we've got to Senator Canavan.
Chaired and spearheaded by the Coalition, Matt Canavan's attempt for the Senate to raise a stink with the Andrews government over its Commonwealth Games cancellation didn't bother the Premier, who didn't commit to reading it.
I think it's a political stunt. Like it's this. Yeah, and I'll get briefed on it.
Well, I don't think Daniel Andrews read the business case either.
The damning report urged councils, community groups, businesses and others that engage with the Victorian government on major events must now prepare contingency arrangements, with one of 7 recommendations being that any event seeking federal funding must require hosts to notify the Australian government well in advance of cancelling. The report taking aim at Federal Sport Minister Annika Wells and bureaucrats. Asked if the department had provided a briefing to the minister on the implications of the cancellation, they had not. An official saying, "We did not consider there was a need beyond the discussions that had occurred to provide a formal brief."
This is a Pontius Pilate approach from this government where they are washing their hands of it all.
While the Sport Minister was contacted for a response, her Labor colleagues on the committee made additional comments saying it is not incumbent on the Australian government to require notification of changes to major sporting events.
No matter how much Mr Albanese and his Sports Minister want to keep their head in the sand about this issue, this is an issue that affects Australians.
And while the report praised former Andrews Government Minister Martin Pakula for showing up, the committee slammed his colleagues for gagging authorities and games consultants Ernst & Young, who could not provide information requested by the committee due to confidentiality obligations or answers to general questions, citing cabinet deliberations on information already public. The interim report from the Federal Senate came as there was confirmation on hearing dates for a state upper house inquiry into the cancellation of the Commonwealth Games.
The likely date, the likely first hearing is the 9th of October. I certainly would hope the Premier appears.
But Daniel Andrews didn't know if he had an invitation.
I don't know the answer. I'm sure that they will invite me.
As the Senate urges the Albanese government to try and help find a host for the cancelled Commonwealth Games, even with a keen Gold Coast.
To get their hands dirty and try and help with solutions here.
Simon Love, Sky News, Melbourne.